Greetings, Princeanaelbey, Divine Prince of the Divine Theocracy of the Moorish Science Temple of America through Temple Alhambra. And I pray that all is well with everyone. I'm compelled to reiterate to those of my generation, to you baby boomers, get your pensions out of wherever your job has them. Take your pension out. They will be gone. When this machinery cranks up again, your pension will be gone. Get your pension out now. Essential personnel are where they are supposed to be for the most part. Prayerfully, at these institutions where your pensions are dependent, which means you are dependent. But it is your job to learn where your money is. Because you see, that $31 million a year CEO who's already got his golden parachute, do you think he's actually caring about what happens to you when everything falls asunder? Do you think you're going to be primary on his mind? Or do I have to tell you what you should already know? Get your pension out. Take your pension out. Take your pension out. I am more than a little concerned for my city. I am more than a little concerned for Chicago. Egypt. I am truly concerned for Egypt. The mayor, Mayor Lightfoot, she has not told these telecom companies not to install their 5G towers to microwave the citizens of Egypt. She has not done that. Apparently, it's okay by the mayor if you are microwaved from the inside out. Apparently, it's okay for her. And the thing that tells me that this Democratic mayor has nothing in store for the city of Egypt / Chicago but destruction. I'm going to give you the facts. And if you can, I want you to help me to understand. You see, because I believe in living the Republican form of life and government. But I want you to dig this. This is what the mayor has done. I'm going to lay these facts out for you. Fact. The mayor unilaterally decided that Egypt is going to be a sanctuary city. You hold on to that. You hold on to that one because it's going to come back up. She has she has mandated that the policy enforcement departments of the city of Chicago in the land of Egypt, they not cooperate with ICE. They are not supposed to cooperate with the immigration control people. Those are a couple of your facts. Here is another fact. An illegal, see, I don't call them immigrants. The Mayans and Aztecs and Incans who live here don't want them here because they're an embarrassment to them. They're an embarrassment to them. They don't want them here. But the mayor of the city of Chicago does. Now, fact, this guy who was deported, 2 or 3 times by ICE, he found his way back to Chicago. He raped a little girl in a McDonald's bathroom. And he did this on Mayor Lightfoot's watch. And she told Chicago police, do not help ICE. You do not report illegals to them. You do not assist in their arrest and capture. This is what the mayor of the city of Chicago has said publicly. Still want to be a Democrat? Have you seen Los Angeles? Have you seen San Francisco? I would advise you to get on the internet and look at those Democratic-run cities. Look at Detroit. Do you really have to go very far to see what happens when a city is under Democrat control? And Chicago has been under Democrat control, solidly entrenched since 1955, when King Richard J. Daley got into the mayor's seat, and he stayed there for an entire lifetime. But I have to tell you this about King Richard, and I call him King Richard only out of the due respect that that man has earned, because he knew how to run this city. He knew how to run the most segregated city in the world and make it work. Nobody else could do that. Nobody else could do that. During his tenure as the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Richard J. Daley, he saw more than his fair share of riots on his watch. But you know what? They didn't last very long. They didn't last very long. Well, I guess that would depend on how one views time. But outside of Daley, and upon his departure from this plane, there should have been a Republican mayor sitting on the 5th floor. But this is what the mayor of the city of Chicago has outwardly spoken. And those are the orders given to the clowns of the Chicago Policy Enforcement Department. And I don't mean clowns disrespectfully at all. However, when you learn, you know. And when you know, you must become what you know. If all you learn is clown garbage in the academy, guess what you're going to be on the streets? You become what you know. If all you know is clown-ish, then that's what you're going to be. And that's who I'm talking to. It's not all. And you see, so what the mayor is saying to the citizens of Chicago and to the population of Egypt is it's okay for these young punk-ass cops to continue to pull over the senior citizens and abuse them because they're spoiled-ass bastard baby boys and girls with daddy issues and abandonment issues, and she gives them guns and badges. Now, what do you think is going to go on in the minds of these little cretins? But she's okay with that. But don't help the United States government apprehend and deport criminals who are violating and criminalizing the citizens of Chicago. This is what your Democratic mayor is saying to you. Her little bastard boys and girls in blue can continue to abuse the citizens of Chicago, but leave the hardened alien criminals alone. Now, see, that's what I wanted to bring to you. What I want you to do is help me make that make sense to me, because I am surely in a quandary as to why a living, breathing, supposedly caring woman who is supposed to be so full of maternal instinct, but yet she shows favoritism, and not to one of her own children, but to a long-lost cousin. That is where her loyalties lie. Not with you, Chicago. Not with you. It's okay for the lawless from other countries to just cut up in Chicago, and ICE can't touch them. And the Chicago police are not allowed to help ICE catch them, detain them, and deport their asses. That's not what the mayor of Chicago wants. I'm telling you again, you get on YouTube and you look at San Francisco and you look at Los Angeles, which is nothing but a tent city now, under Democratic rule. And all they want to do is keep you Asiatics on the plantation. Why do you think they want more illegals here? Voter base. Because all the illegals are going to know is, oh, well, it was the Democrats that made it okay for us to be here. You don't really have to think that hard and that far to see the game the Democrats are playing. Because after a while, you niggas are going to become obsolete. You're going to become obsolete, voting on the color of somebody's skin. How ridiculous you are for doing that. You don't even care to learn what their politics are. And if you got a patronage job, your precinct captain got you a job at City Hall, yeah, that's where your loyalties lie. And that's because you could give a damn about your fellow Chicagoans. You could give a damn about your fellow Chicagoans. Now, let me tell you how I know this, Chicago. When that little half a fag came here from that show nobody with any brains would watch. What is it? Slumpire? When that little half a fag came here and told that lie, how comes you didn't sue him, Chicago, for defamation of character? Because we're Chicago. We had enough problems with race. But the bullshit that boy came up with, that ain't one of them. Our amalgamated Morris Chicago brothers don't run up on us like that. They don't do that. Why didn't you scream about it, Chicago? And then you leave this other half a fag, this little half-pint leprechaun who wants to hide all the time. You leave him to speak for you. If I didn't live here, Chicago, if I did not love Egypt as I do, I would leave you to this bullshit that you are allowing to go on. Because you asked for it by doing nothing. I can't do that. Because there are children that you all, indiscriminately just drop out here. Well, they're going to have to learn more than the crap that you're not teaching them. And that they have a place here in Egypt should be primary among them. Well, you're not teaching them that. But you should. And the first thing that you should teach them is how to live a Republican form of life, not a democratic form of life. Do you all understand what a Democrat is? All right. Short course. Short course in etymology. The word demo, it is Greek for people. And a democracy, C-R-A-C-Y, the state under which one lives. A peoplecracy. And that's what you got. You got a birth certificate. That means that you are used to pay the bills of a corporation that claims to own you. That's a democracy. And that is what the church wanted the United States Military Corporation to spread across the world, either through diplomacy or through bullets. Anyone want to dispute that? How far back in history do you really need to go? The Democrats are not your friends. And you'd better learn to kick the habit. See, because the Democrats ain't nothing but a monkey on your back. The thing about this monkey, it's got a bit and bridle in your mouth. He yank it to the left, your ass turn to the left. He yank it to the right, that's the way you gonna turn. The Democrats are not your friends. And if slavery didn't teach you that, what they've done is they've convinced you that Republicans are the reason for slavery, and that is just not so. And if that is what you think, perhaps you need to read more of Horace Greeley. You see, you really kind of need to get into some stuff to know some stuff from various sources. But enough of that. Get your pensions out. Brothers and sisters, nephews and nieces, get your pensions out of wherever they are. And if they're with your company, you better get them out now. Because when the machinery starts back up, what you're going to learn is a lot of things have changed. I don't want you to find out by way of surprise. Okay. Yes, the mayor of the city of Chicago Corporation, the mayor of that corporation, it's not okay to find, capture, report to ICE about illegals being here in Egypt and in the city of Chicago Corporation. But it's okay for a telecommunication company to microwave the citizens. This is what the mayor of the city of Chicago Corporation deems okay. Because you see, a mayor, if this democratic mayor for the city of Chicago Corporation were interested in you, then she would take a more Republican approach and ask the citizens if they want 5G after the citizens have been given the facts and have studied for themselves the negative repercussions and the long-range, far-reaching consequences of having humans around 5G equipment. But you see, that would only happen in a Republican form of government. But this is a democracy. What I say goes. Still want to be a Democrat, huh? Still want to be a Democrat, huh? You got no choice. You are still under the thumb of these wrong way cops that the mayor endorses. You know how you can tell she endorses them? Because more than half of these young bastard boys and girls still have their goddamn jobs. That's how I know she endorses them. Because you see, under a Republican form of government, a Republican mayor would have absolutely no compunction about demonstrating to the people how this government is for the people. And would, in all likelihood, I know I personally would, I would strip him publicly of his badge. I'd cut his uniform off of him for what he did to a citizen of the Republic. But that's just me. But you don't have to worry about that with this Democratic mayor. She endorses all of this. She endorses it. Yeah, how many times have you been just traveling on your way and then you saw cops? You know they're just sitting there waiting for you because you live here. You know how they are. You know who doesn't know how they are? The mayor. And somebody want to tell me how it is or why it is? She doesn't know how they are, but she endorses it. You still want to be a Democrat, huh? So your precinct captain gave you a job, and that's all you care about. Well, that's a shame, because you don't live in Egypt by yourself. That's a shame you feel that way. Because the only message you're sending is we cannot stand together as a people in Egypt. That's the message you're sending when you care more about a damn job than you care about your brothers and sisters. And you don't even have the excuse, well, we still got bills to pay, because right now you ain't got no bills to pay. And I know you've heard about the forgiveness across the board. I told you about that a couple of weeks ago in a video. You ain't got to pay no rent. You ain't got no bills. You got no excuse now. But I bet you're going to make one up, aren't you, citizens of Egypt? You're going to make one up just so that you don't do anything except let the Democrats continue to control your life. However, with this 5G equipment that the mayor of Chicago is so ready and willing to kill you with, rather than give you information about it, I haven't heard her say anything regarding the health and safety of the citizens of the City of Chicago Corporation where this 5G is concerned. And surely she has heard about it. Surely she has heard about it. But I'm going to give you, again, some minor things, some onsetting symptoms of 5G effects on you. If you begin to experience headaches and you begin to feel different, and by different, I mean you find that your equilibrium is off. I mean, you find it difficult to stand up or walk a straight line. It's at that point that the 5G, it is targeting your medulla oblongata in the rear and your amygdala. It's frying them. It's microwaving them. But the mayor of Chicago would rather have that happen to you than to have criminals from other countries deported by the same government agency where she gets her money from to run her corporation. She refuses to assist them. And it would only be in the best interest of the people who are already here. How are you going to protect someone outside of the family before you protect your family? Somebody please make this make sense to me. And you still want to be a Democrat, huh? A job and a paycheck is all it took to buy you, huh? You came cheap. And the lives of your future generations, you sold them out cheap. But you weren't caring about them. But again, Be aware. These are just a few of the symptoms of the onset of 5G syndrome. I have coined the term 5G syndrome because it is syndromatic and everybody is going to feel it. It is a syndrome. It's a syndrome. And anybody around it is going to get it. And if you didn't make the connection, the COVID-19 thing, you see, the people already had it. But when they flipped that switch and turned on that 5G, that is when people became ill. Now, the Democrats are going to tell you how helpful this vaccine that Bill Gates came up. The Bill Gates, the way I understand it, he deals with computers and software. What the hell does he know about creating vaccines? Well, as it turns out, he knows a lot, you see. He was of the Jesuit order. And what is their weapon of choice? I taught you that. It's poison. That is the weapon of choice for the Jesuit order, the Jesus order, the assassination arm of the church. I'm going to continue this. This will be part one. But let me finish giving you these symptoms. If you begin to feel different, again, a loss of equilibrium, that is because two very major aspects of the brain, they're being cooked from the inside out. Now, I need you to understand something. And I'm only here to tell you the truth. There are the tenebrous ones. And I'm going to share with you one of the things that is habitual within their rituals. And that is the eating of the pineal gland. And so now that people have become accustomed to microwave food, most of you don't know that pineal glands, they are very pricey. They are very pricey. On the human body parts circuit, they're quite pricey. What was learned in the 1940s was that the Caucasian pineal gland was virtually petrified. And that is because when our ancestors created him, they could not create a soul. And the soul resides next to the pineal gland. That is where the soul resides. And that is what keeps, well, that is what gives life to the pineal gland. That's the Godhead. And remember, thought is the cause of it all. Everything begins with a thought. And your soul resides right next to the pineal gland. But at any rate, the cooked pineal gland will be a delicacy. When your head is cooked, the pineal gland is microwaved. I'm sure it will taste better than the raw ones they have been consuming. They haven't been cooking them. But now with this 5G thing, they can have cooked pineal gland. And as difficult as that may be for some of you to digest, the idea of humans cannibalizing other humans, especially and in particular special parts of the human body. But that's another video for another day. I'll tell you all about Wayne Watson down there in the Atlanta child murders. But at any rate, you begin to feel dizzy. You begin to lose your appetite. You're going to lose your appetite because now your synapses, which fire regularly all the time, they bring you thoughts and inspiration. Just your synapses are always firing. Well, that's going to slow down. It's going to slow down because the neurochemical actions and reactions that normally take place within the brain, it's going to cease. That's going to cease. You're going to become a babbling idiot if you don't just die outright. And in all likelihood, you're going to just die outright. I'm going to deviate for just a second here, speaking of dying outright. If you all remember, in a prior video, I shared with you that the numbers weren't adding up with all these COVID deaths. Well, I learned this just recently. And it has now become common knowledge. It is an absolute farce. When I explained to you that this is a hoax, I did not know that they were going to just demonstrate the whole thing to you like this. Those COVID deaths that are reporting to you, so many thousands and thousands. Well, this is what they have begun doing. Anyone who dies, I don't care if it's from a gunshot wound, they are mandated to put as cause of death COVID-19. Isn't that something? If he died from a shotgun blast, what did he die from? COVID-19. That is what is going on the death certificates. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So, because, some of the effects of the 5G wattage output, take your cue from nature. Now, I've demonstrated to you what to look for, the outward physical signs to look for of 5G radiation. And wherever you see a light standard or one of those towers or what have you, because they're right outside your house, they're on those poles. And if you got one of those gray cans on a pole near your house, you need to tear it down because it's there to kill you. Not only just spy on you, it's there to kill you. It's there to kill you. But yeah, that's what they've begun doing now. Doesn't matter what the cause of death is, it is going down in the books as a COVID-19 death. I'll be back with the other part of this. This is incredible. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I bid you peace.